Hello everyone, or welcome. Welcome to the WABCOWÜRTH Web Event, Trailer Diagnosis Inside. My name is Milan Kalash, Export Area Manager in the team of Maxishum, responsible for WABCO external partners, and I have with me our dear colleague.
My name is Jacek Iwanicki. I'm a member of Product Management Department. Welcome.
Let's jump into it. That's cool. How complex is the business today, the market, regarding the trailer diagnosis?
From practical side, we have 3 suppliers. I will give it in alphabetical order. So Haldex, Knorr Bremse, and WABCO. And this we will have in the software as well. So if we have trailer diagnosis, we can find all of them here. Technically speaking, we can split it also into 2 technologies, ABS and EBS. ABS is based, it's older technology, is based on the wheel speed sensors only, and EBS calculates the load in addition. So the braking force is calculated from 2 different factors. In terms of complexity, see with the connection, all the EBS supporting the ISO standards. So we can use the ISO standard cable for the connection. So independently from the manufacturer, which is obviously a big benefit. You just need 1 cable for the connection. And if we speak about the ABS, we can only use the side sockets, which are delivered by manufacturer itself. So obviously there is no standard. Each manufacturer can use different cables. And for this we have a set or some variants. This is our smart case, so the smallest possible, where you can find a ISO cable, which looks like this one, connected. And for all side socket, we have a compartment here, so you can put the cables here. And our main idea is not to deliver the sets, so customer can choose what he really needs to. So here is example of solution coming from Haldex. So you have let's say the single cable which you use with the side socket, and this is related mostly for EBS, and this one with the additional power was designed for ABS generation.
Let's go in comparison to the original hardware solutions. How much hardware we actually need?
If we speak about the side sockets, obviously we have to provide the same number of cables, to make it 100% compatible. But the big benefit is that we just need 1 ISO cable for all of them. So it's easier to handle, easier to keep in the case, of course.
So basically ISO cable, PCI box, and maybe a few adapters for the side socket.
I would say if the customer only use the EBS solution, then you just need the ISO cable.
Good. Then coming to the next step, how do I make sure which modulator I have in the trailer?
It is simple, In theory, if you have access to the trailer, you can make a visual inspection. And for this, we provide whatever manufacturer you will choose. For example, Haldex, because it's the first on the list. And you go to systems, and you have a category button, which we call ECU identification help. And here you can find the pictures with all models they provide. So even if you choose Haldex, then you can see also Knorr solutions, then all the generations, WABCO. So I would say even if you make a wrong selection at the beginning, then it does not really matter, because you can compare with your visual inspection, and if you are sure, they are pretty different, So it's very hard to make.
And which of them are the mostly used?
It's very hard to say, depends on the market. I would say in most of the European countries, the Knorr and WABCO are the leaders. But there are some countries like France, like UK, where you can find more Haldex.
Okay.
on it. So I would say this is the most common way how to identify. Obviously, you can use some stickers on the trailer. You can see somewhere some advertisement from the manufacturer. But this is also, you have to remember that this is also the part which can be replaced for whatever reason. So you can have a stickers originally from Haldex, but it was switched to WABCO later on. Yeah.
Starting with the Knorr Bremse modulator.
Okay, so if we know how it looks like, we can choose the corresponding manufacturer from here from the list. We do not need this anymore, so we can close it. We go for a manufacturer selection. And then obviously it's a part where you have to care about the power. So you need to provide the permanent power from the battery, from the vehicle battery, and you have to switch your ignition. This is very important, otherwise the modulator will not work. Sure. So we need to connect this to the source of the power. In our case, in our situation, it's a case. We need to care about the ignition on, so key on, or there is a button in the truck, or whatever else solution, and then we can start to communicate. So in this case, based on our visual inspection, we choose it's a second generation. In our software, we provide the function to automatically recognize which generation of the EBS it is. So if it's not ABS or the modulator, then you can use this button. You can see here, it does not really matter if it's a side connector or ISO cable. There is just one selection. Then the software will try to communicate with our box. So it checks all conditions, the firmware and other stuff is there, tries to identify the system. You can see the box is changing the color, informing us about the status. And if it's connected, then you can see the menu. Yeah. So the first or most commonly used function is obviously reading the fault codes. So this will be our reference to start to find the problem. So we have some indications about the wheel speed sensors. Obviously, it comes because this is just a plain modulator without any accessories. So we have a trouble code number. This is number which comes from the manufacturer. So it's not our, let's say, indication. It's original indication. There is a basic explanation what this number means. Then you have a status, if it's active or historical or inactive or permanent or sporadic or whatever else. And what we also offer in addition is the, let's say, the step-by-step instruction based on let's say OE suppliers statistical value about the possible causes.
Part being part of the smart guide.
Of course, yeah. This is we call it smart guide, but in fact it's some kind of step-by-step instruction. So you can obtain how often this happens. Yeah. Obviously, this could change during the life cycle, but this is something we can provide. And here we have also the category of component testing. So if you need some additional tests to provide some additional information, what could be a cause or to eliminate any other source of the problem, then you can go there and see there is a text description which gives you the impression what you have to do step by step, what kind of values you should expect, yeah, and so on and so on. So this is not a OE software, this is the multi-brand software which is provided by us, but we try to follow the OE recommendations for this.
That's a brief overview. I get connected, I can read out the fault codes, I can read some tips how to fix the trailer again. Besides these features, what does the software offer?
You know, we offer more or less the all the values which ECU is analyzing. So you can take a look, for example, what is the wheel speed value. You can see here the unit in which this is given there. So for example, this will be the brake. You need to select what you like to see and click on show. The software will present the real-time data on the screen. Yeah. Again, yeah, this is just a constellation of plain modulators, so we should not expect any miracles here, but at least in the real constellation, this will mean that the sensors are missing. Yeah? So it could be a problem, which is confirmed by the fault.
Continuing to the function.
And then we have a function category where depends on the generation, you can find different features. Yeah? So activations means you can simply send the signal to the modulator to power up, and you should expect that this component which is activated will change his status. Yeah, and you have to observe or listen or whatever else. Yeah, so it's based on the let's say visual or organoleptic inspection. Then you have self tests. So you can this list is based on the OE manufacturer. Yeah, so in OE software you can find the specific functions, and we try always to follow the same logic, yeah, the same philosophy. You can perform the leak test, for example. If you are not sure if there is any leak in the system, you can provide this, and then the software will give you the instruction how to do it. You have a help menu here, which describes in details what kind of conditions you should fulfill and what you should expect from the function itself. Yeah. So we have an end-of-line test which you have to perform after the modulator replacement. You have some specific functions related to the parameters, yeah, to read out the parameters. You can create the replacement for the ID plate. You can also activate the electrical components which are responsible for lifting axle, for leveling platform, for some external power. For example, if you need to use any fleet management data, you need to equip the modulator with the modem, which will send the data, and so on and so on. And obviously, quite important function, we are providing the possibility to make a backup of all parameters to the file, then store it like for the future. And in case you need to exchange the modulator, you can simply take another unit, a new one or used one, and transfer the parameters into the new unit. You can also read out the service settings. For example, if it's set up that the modulator should indicate some millage which happened or any other service indication, you can set up when it should happen. Then it starts to blink, indicating to the driver. We offer also the possibility to change the VIN. If you use the used modulator, which is already programmed, then you can simply adjust it to the real trailer.
Okay.
Okay, so this is quite simple in practice.
Yeah.
So it's nothing special. I suppose everybody can perform this. So now we will close the communication with this modulator. Yeah. So Milan, please change the now to Haldex. Just take care about the ignition. And so now again, yeah, VCI is indicating that it's powered up, and then we need to change our manufacturer to the corresponding one. Again, we offer more or less the same selection, so you should be comfortable with the menu at least. Yeah, obviously our idea was to integrate most of the OE softwares available on the market. So in case of Haldex and WABCO, we offer the OE software, which is, let's say, embedded in our framework. So it means that we offer identical OE software, which is supplied by the OE manufacturer, but it's integrated in the same framework. So in this case, it's a EBS generation. And now we need to provide the super pin. So maybe you can explain what super pin means in terms of.
Super pin is an access to an expert mode, which is given in exchange for confirmation to any customer. So it's not really related to any specific training, like in case of WABCO. It's something you will receive in exchange for a signature. It basically gives you access to all the features in the company, and we obviously provide this feature to a company owner or a workshop manager so that they can internally manage who of them they share the super pin.
In this constellation, this is it looks a little bit different because, as I said, it's an OE application integrated. So we have to choose which type of connection we will provide. So we just follow the real conditions. And then the software will try to connect. And on this initial screen, we should see the actual status of the modulator. So you should be able to see some electrical values, if it's powered, if there is any air supply, obviously not, because again, it's just a plain modulator. Then fault indication, if there are any. So the most commonly used function is the readings of the fault code. We have here a split in the colors. So red means active, the black means not active, let's say, and we provide again the same logic. So if we double click on it or use this green mark, then we will see, we call it environmental data, so conditions in which the fault was registered. Then we can click on additional information to get the instruction. So it's very similar to our smart guide solution. Sometimes this text is longer, so you have to scroll it down. And this is provided for all trouble codes existing. So this is OE data. Yeah, so the most trustful source of information. If there are many fault codes, then we can use these arrows to switch between them. If we speak about the reporting, we also offer this OE format. For this, you can make a printout or you can save it to the PDF.
Yes, so we might mention the logic of the Haldex, which is related to the super pin access, which gives you access to everything.
Yeah, so Haldex do not limit any functionality from their software. So it means that every operator is responsible what he's doing. In theory, he can do whatever he wants. But then since he's changing the parameters, he's responsible. That's why we provide this super pin request. And all the operations are registered based on this super pin. So every super pin means physical VCI, which belongs to the physical customer.
And if we came back to the cable selection, there was not just the option to select the ISO cable, but we could as well select the two other cables, in which instance we use this option.
So if we, for whatever reason, we don't want to use the ISO cable, it doesn't work, for example, we can exclude the problem from the ISO cable itself or from this main cable which goes from the truck to power up the modulator. We can use the side socket. And then in terms of Haldex,
what is the difference?
So the upper one is the side socket. So if the trailer is equipped with the side socket, then we use the one which looks like this. I've showed this already based on the case. And this one with the green tip, we put directly to the modulator. It was very common in the past. So the first generation of EV Plus system and the second generation was equipped with the green socket, with the green plastic clamp. So you can easily obtain in which place it should be fitted.
Great.
So obviously there is some technical specification, because here we use 24 volts, here we use 5 volts for the communication.
Sure.
That's why there is a split. But besides that, almost every solution comes from WABCO or from Knorr also offers the connection over the side sockets.
Okay, there are all the features that the software provides.
Yeah, we have obviously some bigger or deeper functions related to the parameterization to change the orientation of the modulator, for example. So we can show this here. So the software gives us the possibility to, let's say, different location of the sensors. It depends on the construction. You can use some external sensors if you want, or if there is any reason if you need to change your orientation. Yeah, you can split this. So there is a lot of features here. Here is the overview about the weights and corresponding pressures. Yeah? And some external devices which are connected or not. So you can integrate the lifting axle sensor or COLAS leveling platform solution. Or you can provide some external power for external devices and so on and so on.
Yeah, definitely there will be more features that we can cover in the time given. Let's move into the third manufacturer.
So we need to close the software, and now we can use the, we will provide the real trailer now, because we have here in the studio the trailer which is equipped with the WABCO. So we will change now the source of the power, and obviously we will teach in the box. So let me power it up.
And in the meanwhile, I will go to settings and change to the second box. Coming to devices, diagnostic box. Okay, we need to wait for the box to be charged. Just a second.
So this is the typical sound.
Wait, let's switch sides. Fine, please.
This is the typical sound which appears when there is a power system. So now we will switch to our different VCI box, which is physically connected to the trailer. Okay, it's here.
Yeah, and now please, how do we connect to a WABCO modulator?
Yeah, the way of the connection is more or less the same. So we need to choose the right manufacturer. Again, yeah, we can use this identification help at the beginning just to obtain, in this case, it's a WABCO OE, so TBSE. I would suggest always to use the newest software, because then you are sure that you are up to date, even if it's very new modulator. And then it's quite similar to Haldex. Yeah? You need to select which cable you use.
Okay, so I have quite a few options.
So we still use the same cable like this one. So we need to click on this, and then depends on the construction. So we would say, or I would say, there are two types of trailers. Yeah, we call it trailer and semi-trailer. And semi-trailers are always equipped with the socket, and some trailers are equipped with the direct cable connection. So depends on which side is our diagnostic connector. We have to provide the information to the software.
Okay.
So in this case, if we do the wrong selection, then obviously we will not get the communication. We will provide also some troubleshooting here. So if there will be any problem with the connection, it will be indicated from the software. So let's say we will select this picture, and then diagnosis. It will ask us how we would like to connect over the ISO.
Okay,
connection.
what are the options I should choose?
So in this case, we are connected with the ISO cable. We got 24 volts from the power case or from the trailer, from the truck, sorry. So we need to choose this one or this one, but in this case,
what
the first
happened
option,
if I chose the 5-volt version?
Nothing, there will be no connection, obviously. We have a status here, so it shows us what actually the software is doing, and now we obtain a situation where we have a problem. It shows us there is a connection between the PC and the VCI, but not to the vehicle.
Okay.
This is just an example. It could be a different type of trailer here, but nevertheless.
Okay.
And so now we are going to the point where we would like to solve the problem. We have a list of the potential reasons. So we have a symptom, no communication. So whatever software we will use, it will not help us until we will not fix the connection problem.
And what is the advice to the customers? Let's say I have everything paired, the box is being charged, it's properly updated. On the cable there is a 0 set, so from the perspective of the user, everything is set properly. Still, I cannot get connection.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we provide this list with some most common situations you can find in the real diagnosis, and it's not a coincidence that the power supply fault is listed as the first one, or you can simply make a mistake and forget to make an ignition on. So in this case, we have to eliminate the source of the problem by measuring the cables, for example, with the multimeter or any other measuring tools or bulb or whatever else. Or we have to, which is better solution, we can use some, let's say, spare parts which are available on the market. So in this case, we will demonstrate if I would like to be sure that it's not related to the power, then this is let's say the OE spare part, which could be delivered with different sizes or different lengths. And this is the longest one. So if it's quite common to have it in the workshop. So on one side we have this standard ISO connector with 7 pins, and then on the other hand we have a typical connector which fits for specific generation. In the real life, if we speak about the manufacturers, they provide different type of connectors on this side. This is standardized one, but this is related to the specific generation. So we have to be sure that we are using the right cable. So in this case, we will now try to change this cable and eliminate the first problem. Okay.
The VCI is not charged. Now it's on. Okay, so
now again, we hear this noise.
Minor delay, sorry for that.
So I would suggest to make another selection, cable selection. Again.
No, we need to go to the second one.
Okay, but this is the idea, yeah? What kind of cable you are using. So if we choose the different type, then we will have again some other selections here. And depends on the orientation, we will choose
the correct one.
The one which we used, in fact.
Okay. The software informs.
Yeah, we will see the status.
It may take a while. I'm not sure we can see the box, but anyway, it should inform us about the process. Maybe it's just taking its time. Yeah, the question might be how long is too long?
Yeah, but that's why there is a fault indication. Yeah? So we always have to wait until we will get any statement.
Meaning, till I get some message, I simply wait.
Yeah.
For the modulator to.
And we have to follow all the steps, yeah, in the troubleshooting always. So let me try to initiate this for the second time.
Okay, let's wait.
Maybe the power is.
Which gives us access simple and easy to the related file, which we have as a part of technical data package. Those are the same data available under systems. Brakes. Tabs BE just conveniently available, accessing with only one click. I can even open the wiring diagram, just select one of them. It will be opened in a new tab. Just use the time to show some of the technical data.
Okay, yeah.
Part of the tool.
So now we exchange the spiral cable between the truck and trailer.
Okay.
Just to eliminate the second source of the problem.
I can see the software is still trying to run. So what is the advice now?
Yeah, we can try to close it. Yeah. Advice from my side: if you close the software before you close the physical connection, always try to make a ignition cycle again.
Ignition. Okay, which means turning it off for 30 seconds.
So, because if we will get a situation in which there is a still physical connection and the software is not informed about it, then you can expect a lot of issues. Yeah. So we now choose again the modulator. Of course, you can make a mistake here also if you choose the wrong side. Yeah? So then you need to try again.
And if I'm not sure, there are just two options.
Yeah, of course.
one way or the other.
But these pictures should give you the impression which one is the right one. Diagnosis.
Yeah, so it's initializing. Okay. Reading ECU information.
There is no guarantee that if you follow this list, you will get the solution from the first point. Yeah? That's why they provide the list.
Sure.
So you have to check all of them. And the indication for us that we are connected is first thing is this identification plate, which gives us the device number. Yeah? So it's a production number, the date of the production, the serial number, and so on. Some important entry data. We have a very similar, let's say, overview like in Haldex software. So there are some components locations here. We can treat it like a basic schematic of the system. You should see here the electrical and pneumatic values. Yeah, this is the pressures which are actually given to the trailer. So there are some reservoir here and some values after some tests which has been performed in the past and so on. We do not have any parking brake engagement now, so that's why we can see zeros here. And here we have a menu which corresponds to this menu. So if some customers are experienced with WABCO from the past, they can still use these icons on the top. But we also provide, let's say, these multi-brand style buttons here.
Okay.
So the meaning is corresponding to the WABCO logic. So there are no trouble codes, but the messages here. And actually, we do not have any faults registered from this trailer.
Okay, second. This is the point where we want to get. We tried a different cable. In this case, it would have been a physical, a problem of the physical hardware.
Yeah.
How much do we recommend to use their own cable, or how much we can rely that the cable which is between truck and trailer is working perfectly fine? Because, right, we have to be.
Yeah, but from the workshop perspective, you never know what will come to visit you. Yeah?
Does it make sense to have your own EBS cable as a good recommendation?
Of course, it makes sense. Yeah, because then you are 100% sure that this cable works.
If I don't have the spare cable,
then you have to use any other, let's say, way to obtain if it's offering the continuity. Yeah? So you have to measure and try to find where it's cutted or rusted or whatever else. Yeah? You have to imagine that sometimes the cable is okay in the meaning of transmission, but it could be rusty or there could be some corrosion or oxidation on it. Yeah. And in my opinion, it makes no sense to lose, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours to clean it, just to verify the connections. So the best way is to have the spare cables, whatever length, just to eliminate this quickly. Yeah?
That's good to ask specifically quickly. How much can viewer help me?
It can give you the impression if there is any physical problem. Actually, I would suggest to demonstrate this later on. But this will answer your question. We can, in theory, eliminate all the physical layer problems. So
it shows if I have the connection.
If there is any response from the modulator itself, for example, you have a situation you can hear like whilst clicking when you power it up, but there is no communication. But could be also the other reason you choose WABCO, for example, but you have a physical Haldex modulator connected.
This is part of the WABCO software.
Yes.
However, am I limited only to a WABCO hardware?
No. CanViewer can be used for every communication in between truck and trailer, if there is any. Does not really matter. It's a standardized software, so it means it offers the functionality to discover all the problems based on the CAN communication. It's nothing related to WABCO or Haldex or Knorr. But it's produced by WABCO.
It's anytime great help in case I don't really want to tweak with the cables and running on the.
Or you just would like to have a clear situation, for whatever reason you would like to obtain this quickly.
Can we just quickly check the communication?
Yes, but we need to switch to the USB cable, so we will do this later.
No, this we do later, obviously. Just as an information, the ISO cable has a switch 0 and 1.
Yes, and this is nothing related to the site of the connection or if it's let's say a switch off or switch on, like maybe the switch could suggest itself. So the 0 position means the cable is terminated and offers the diagnosis for trailer. And in 1 position, in open this termination, so you can see the transmission in between the truck and the trailer, so towing vehicle and the trailer. So this is the meaning. From the perspective of WABCO, we offer identical software like the OE supplier. So it means it's only embedded in our constellation. So you have all the features which are provided, like the service partners use in the workshop and so on and so on. It's not limited to any, let's say, region or let's say field where you cannot do something. Obviously, there is a philosophy coming from WABCO. They provide the trainings for their customers, and based on this, we have here. Sorry, I have to make it a little bit. Let's go for diagnostic memory again. So we fulfill all the requirements if we have any fault codes or descriptions or measuring values. For example, here it's groups where you can see specific values given in the specific units or with bit sensors. If you have any doubts which sensor it is, if you have a message coming from the software, it's a sensor D or a sensor F. It does not really give you the impression if it's left side or right side, but the modulator could be configured in a different way. So it's very relative. So here you can see easily which sensor is located where.
Jacek, by this we ran out of time. So basically, to summarize, with using just a few hardware components, we are able to connect any of the manufacturer of the modulator. We can really dig deep with the diagnostics using the original software. It's a convenient way how to reach them. And the question is if we have time for questions, which most likely, if anyone has a question, please feel free to write them in the comment. We will find a way for you to find for you the answer. Thank you very much for your attention. This was Jacek Iwanicki, a trainer from WABCOWÜRTH, and me, Milan Kalash. I hope to see you next time.